5 seconds. Start. A pair of balanced scales representing the Union of India and the states. The cover usual of the 15th Finance Commission's report for the period 2021-22 to 2025-26 seeks to highlight the Commission's endeavor to maintain an equitable approach at a time when the center and states are facing unprecedented revenue stress and fiscal demands. The center has accepted much of Commission's board recommendations, including giving states a 41% share of division pool of taxes and revenue deficits, grants of nearly rupees 2.95 lakh crore for 17 states over the next 5 years. It has also acceded to the Commission's suggestion to make grants towards urban and rural local bodies conditional upon states setting up their own finance commissions and publishing online the accounts of local bodies, and 60% of these grants will be further linked to these bodies providing sanitation and water services. There is an in principle no to the panel's suggestion to set up a non-lapses dedicated fund to support defense and internal security modernization, a response to the center's belated request to examine if such a fund can be considered for funding defense capex beyond normal budget allocations. While the panel has suggested moving rupees 1.53 lakh crore out of the Consolidation Fund of India over 5 years to partly finance this, the center has said the funding 90 greetings will be examined later. States would monitor how the modalities here evolve, even as they have reason to fret about the center non-committal response to the Commission's recommendations of sector-specific and other grants, for them adding up to about rupees 1.5 lakh crore. It is up to the center now to ensure that states do not feel short-changed from the new fiscal framework, given their frayed ties over GST compensation dues. States have also been steadily losing out, given the center penchant to raise more cesses and surcharges that do not have to be shared. This budget has seen an encore with the agricultural infrastructure development cess. One wishes the Commission had at least noted its displeasure on this practice, like its predecessors did. Unlike them, however, the NK singled panel had to cope with a tumultuous shift in the domestic and global microeconomic landscape. At whom the Planning Commission was dissolved and GST introduced, the panel's tenure was extended by a year, requiring it to give an interim report first, with its work culminating in a virtual zero visibility June as the COVID-19 pandemic broke out months before its deadline. Given these pressures and the difficulties in projecting the economy's path, the Commission has done well. It has resisted the center's nudge to review what it felt was a too generous 42% share granted to states by the previous commission, and deftly dealt with most of the unusual terms of reference foisted on it. As N.T. Rama Rao said, India lives in the states. If the center takes them along, it might help attain the balance envisaged by the Commission, which is needed to drive the country on to a double engine growth trajectory from the current nadir. We cannot keep pace with the modern world unless we adopt the latest techniques, where it is in for the fact big factory or the small or for village industry. We cannot keep pace with the modern world unless we utilize the source of power that are available to the modern world. Today, we stand on the threshold of the atomic age. Enormous new resources of power have been placed at the disposal of man. Whether he uses them for good or ill, only the future will show. What we do know is that the power is there and we cannot ignore it. We shall have to use these new sources of atomic energy when the time comes. At the same time, everything has ultimately to be judged in terms of human welfare, and the only real yardstick we can imply is the happiness of our 360 million people. Therefore, I see no inconsistency in my coming here on Gandhiji's birthday and performing the opening ceremony of this great factory. I go about from end to end in India, seeing new factories come up, great schemes take shape, and great river valley project develop, giving power and nursing water to our fields. I see the community projects and national extension services in our rural areas with a speed which is remarkable and without precedent in history. Remember this, that perhaps the biggest scheme in India is not this big factory or 100 other factories, but the hundreds and thousands of community projects are that are changing the face of India. That is the great revolution that is taking place in the village and in the heart of India. I see all this, and as we see it, it feels excitement creeping over me. I am impressed by this magnificent structure, which has been built considerable rapidly and to the layman's eye built efficiently, attractively, and imposingly. I should tell you that my first approach to this factory was not a pleasing one. I saw a huge 10 or 12-foot wall. I do not like walls, and I am allergic to them. I have had too much of walls in my life, and this big 12-foot wall, mile upon mile, without a break, almost gave me a headache. When I saw coming here, I am told that a great part of this wall is not part of this factory at all, but a relic of the great repair shop that was here once. Evidently, the builder of this factory has carried on the tradition, because I saw the wall being continued right up to the main gate.